Spirit and proud of Yahweh Bashun Yahushua Bashun Kakodash. I want to give double honor to the apostles of GMS and rule of world that we learn from, that we can wholeheartedly say those are our teachers. And peace, blessing, salutation to the hopeful elect. And another question, and what's the saying? They can hate, they can remember, but we can't. They says they beheaded, Haman's decapitated 40 heads of babies, but what has so we supposed to forget what the so-called white man has done to our people and still do to this day. So this is PBS. PBS has a lot of good articles. So it says so-called black genocide. So it says in 1959, President Dwight Eisenhower emphatically told the nation that the American government would not and should not support birth control, stating, "That's not our business." With the advent of the pill, that position changed sooner than anyone ever expected. Just 5 years later, President Lyndon B. Johnson established federal funding of birth control for the poor. You see, so-called blacks here in America, which are the tribe of Judah, the real Jews, they've been told, and the world has been blindly misled to thinking that, so-called black people had just woke up and were just porch monkeys and niggas and became, sporadically, this wicked, evil, demented, backwards niggas or people. But remember, we were brought here in chains and slavery, and we had the so-called white man over us ever since. And there's no shape, form, way, or fashion, he had ever let us go. Because that's the case, if that was the case, he would have sent us back where he got us. And ultimately, he would have sent us and allowed us to go back to our homeland, Israel. But he's been trampling over us ever since. And every time we did get established here in America, he came in as a flood and devoured our places and systematically devoured us. And again, everything Esau does, he lays snares and traps. And again, this is all the plan to go into the New World Order. So it has to be a divisive and a strategic way to destroy our people, but make it seem like it's like a soft blow. But deep down inside, but all in all, Esau is the reason why. And we always bicker. You always talk shit, even the so-called Latino Hispanics. When we get amongst each other, sometimes arguments happen. The black man do this, the black woman do this, the Puerto Rican, the Latino do this. But the reason why we do this is because we're living under a strategic, oppressive government and people in a nation of people who hates us and have told us to shut up, suck it up, be quiet. It doesn't matter what happens to you. Just, turn the other cheek. Just believe me. They dangle hope. And again, they give us little gifts to shut us up. And the whole time, they come with another snake tongue, forked tongue, telling other people, oh, they're wrong and these people are wrong. But look what you have done to us. So it says, although many social welfare advocates applauded the move, not everyone welcomed the development. Within the African American community, federal funding sparked a serious controversy over birth control, especially the pill. Well-grounded fears. In the 1960s, many so-called African Americans around the country deeply distrusted the motivations behind government-funded birth control clinics, which they should have. Because during those times, you had Jim Crow, which, and our people knew during those times that the so-called white man was the goddamn devil. And that's another reason why they brought in the attack on the so-called black men, because it's like the scripture says, you have to tie up the strong man to, to go into the house and that's how he was able to infiltrate our households. I remember Elder Tahar did a video about welfare, and they put on TV that it was like women were just kicking the men out. Nah, you had women that was actually hiding, and was how you say they what did it say they I forgot how the video went, but um they pretty much try to demonstrate showcase that they were putting us out, but ultimately you know basically what I'm saying is it did on TV. It wasn't what they showed. But see, Esau's media and that witchcraft of his, he how you say he gets over on the simple. And what has happened due to the bickering between the so-called black men and black women, and another thing, those fucking movies that Esau portrayed, and then the cutback on the jobs that he allowed so-called black men to able to even get to uphold his household. Again, they took out the ability to learn skills as a man, the ability to take care of his household, the dysfunction in the family and the household, the distrust. Esau brought all this about, uh, you know, behind closed doors, the prison system, the drugs, the cocaine, the taking out of the what is it, the force, the jobs, and sent them overseas. Because I forgot even that ugly Edomite, I think his name was like McDonald. He had the jiggly chin. He did a documentary back in the day with telling how you had a lot of top companies took the business and plants and took them overseas, and thus because even our grandfathers, I remember my grandfather had to go out of town to go to work. I think he had to travel either to Maryland or maybe even further than that. I'm not sure, but I remember my grandfather had worked for GMC. He had to go out of town, and that's what happened to a lot of Jakes would have to the Jake men had to battle a lot of racism and a lot of what is it, ostracized of the society. So again, they were sent back home. They had to battle with racism, but they couldn't make it. But what Esau did was bring the crime, the drugs, the guns, the gangs, distrust, and a lot of infiltration of of the so-called black community. That's what you have today. But behind closed doors, a regular person is looking out from looking in. You don't know what's going on. So that's why a lot of people, especially Elamites and East Indians, them fuckers come over here. They got the gas stations, and when they see you, they look at you in straight hatred because they see you on TV as just a degenerate, which our people have become. But it's the reason why our people have become a house of degenerates. Because again, Esau throws his money around and moves his weight around, and he breaks us and he gives us an opportunity, but the opportunity is to make our people look like a fucking degenerate. So it says in 1960, many African Americans from other country deeply distrusted the motivations. I'm gonna jump down. Their fears were well grounded in past experience. In the South, black fertility had a long history of being controlled by whites, which are the Edomites. Under slavery, so-called African American women were encouraged to have children to increase a plantation owner's wealth. After the Civil War, when so-called African Americans were no longer valuable property, the view among white supremacists abruptly shifted. It became desirable to decrease the so-called African American population in the South. Sterilization, abuse of so-called African American women by the white medical establishment reached its height in the 1950s and 1960s. Women who went into Salaki, damn it. Bear with me one moment, Salaki. Women who went into the hospital to deliver children often came out unable to have more. So again, this devil has a long history on talking about Hamas was decapitating heads of children. Shit, so white men done decapitated and destroyed billions of our fucking children, man. And then we're told to shut the hell up. A conspiracy to hold back blacks. Yep. As so-called African Americans grew more aware of their history in the 1960s, thus the Black Panthers, Brown Pride, the Young Lords, Northern Kingdom, and Southern Kingdom, so-called Latino Hispanics and so-called blacks, and you also had so-called Native Americans with those chiefs, them so-called Indian chiefs. They became increasingly suspicious of government-sponsored birth control and the pill. For many, it seemed plausible that birth control was part of a larger plan to keep the black population down and limit black political power. In a cover story for Ebony magazine, popular comedian and activist Dick Gregory spoke for many when he wrote, "First, the white man tells me to sit at the back of the bus. Now it looks like the so-called white man wants me to sleep under the bed. Back in the days of slavery, black folks couldn't grow kids fast enough for white folks to harvest. Now that we've got a little taste of power, white folks want to call a moratorium on having children." Rumors. In some communities, rumors spread that there were two kinds of pills, one for the white women that temporarily prevented ovulation, and one for the so-called black women that caused sterilization. And and it's best believe it's even worse today. So even those another thing too to look out for is that autism has grown up on an all-time high in so-called black boys, and I wonder why. When you first have your child, especially boy, because you're not really it's not that much, it's not that high in so-called black little girls. Remember, they're spoiled, they're property. Again, when you it's all about war. War is you control the men and you take the woman and you take the children. You take the woman and you control the children. Because once you break the woman and take this woman, she will break her offspring. Going back to the book of the Willie Lynch. So it said that so-called African American newspaper that struck a chord when it asked in an editorial why couldn't blacks get basic health care like a free aspirin for a headache. But when you are a so-called black woman old enough to look sexy, you could get a truck load of birth control pills for free. So, hold on. So you ask this, why what's the bickering between so-called black men and black women? Well, it's easy. The so-called white man has been over us. He has purposely designed for us to bicker at each other. Again, let's read the book Willie Lynch. Political motivation to oppose the pill. A significant faction within the Black Power movement believed that population growth was key to increasing black political strength. At the 1967 Black Power Conference in Newark, New Jersey, let me see. Yep. So I'm gonna jump down in the summer of 1969 because this is what men do. Men fight. They go to war. When men get tired, they understand like, yo, fuck this, man. There's no peace. You can't have peace with the so-called white man. And even Martin Luther King even recognized and realized that at his very end, before they took his ass out. Martin Luther King understood that, damn, I really did lead my people to a burning building. And he had his motive, his intention was to go down. He had a church, whatever, loaded with artillery, and he was about to go to war. with the so-called white man, because he understood man, there's no peace with this devil. This devil cannot be over you, hover over you, and be headship and lord over you. There's no peace with this nigga. There's no peace with this devil. Why? Because he's an Edomite and you are an Israelite. So it says violence against a Pittsburgh Planned Parenthood office in Africa, in the so-called African American neighborhood of Homewood, Bushton. A small vocal group of men in the so-called black community vehemently opposed the clinic and the dispenser of birth control, especially the pill. Determined to take action, they threatened the clinic with firebombs and riots. In a panic, the clinic shut down. See that? So yeah, shit happens when you know. I'm not gonna say it on YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about. But ultimately, we're not able to do so. But ultimately, Yahweh is gonna be the one that's gonna do it. But yes, you are going to have riots, etc. That's going to happen in these days to come. So it says, so-called African American women were caught in a bind, although they share some of the same suspicion and resentment about the mostly white-run clinics. In the end, their need to control their fertility prevailed over racial politics. Let me see. Well, yep. So basically showed you our women, went from underneath, and their emotions, and really the so-called black woman being scared. She being fearful, and again, the battle being strategically fought, and Esau having the power, his might in his hand. Hey, I know some of our people succumbing. So it's a black liberation activist Tone Cade Salaki spoke for many women when she wrote, "I've been made aware of the national call to sisters to abandon birth control to pick," and she probably was a paid agent. And another thing too, you had a lot of Esau paid off a lot of our people to raise them up and give them a pension to deceive our people. That they would, again, and that's all, and that's how you break a nation. That's how you break people up. That's what Esau does. That's what he even does to Hamas. If you know the history of Hamas, if I'm not mistaken, he really is funded by Esau. What is it? ISIS. We know ISIS was created by the American government. So that's what Esau does. Esau always pays off people, so forth. It says to raise revolutionaries, what plans do you have for the care of me and my child? In Pittsburgh, the epicenter of the controversy, approximately 200 women arrived together at a town council meeting to save their clinic, and the Planned Parenthood office was reopened. In the decades that followed, African American women have continued to choose the pill based on personal, not political needs. Because again, what else was taught to our women? Sexual liberation. Leave with a scripture. Hold on. Psalm 141. Going to GMT. So it says, Psalms 141, 9 and 10, protect me from, matter of fact, let me see. Psalm 141, 9 and 10. Protect me from the traps they have set for me, from the snares of the evildoers. May the wicked fall into their own traps while I go by unharmed. Vengeance belonging to the Lord. This fucking internet, man. Let's read it right here. Psalms 94. O Lord, your power, to whom vengeance belongeth. O power Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. Show thyself, lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud, Lord. How long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things? Because for a very long time, Esau was allowed to destroy us and get away and get by with all of the catastrophes, the strategic demise of our people. It's been much, man. Due to going back to the 1500s when we first was brought over here, to the harsh cruelties of slavery, due to the 1600s, the 1700s. Esau destroying Gad. Destroying all the kingdom, conquering our people. Putting Christianity on them. Broke us, buck breaking, and etc. Man, but it's going to be a recompense for all of the evil deeds of Edom. So that's why, again, you cannot forgive or forget what this devil has done. This is the reason to hate Esau. Again, everybody else can hate. Everybody else can show hatred towards you, but we're told to forget, love, shut up. What was that saying? I can't remember, but you get the point. But with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Him is decapitated 40. Man, the shit that they do to our people every day. The hell out of here.